Very important. Very important. There were a couple of Supreme Court decisions that came out yesterday. Trump, the immunity, the Supreme Court found in favor of Trump that presidents do have immunity for uh, tasks that they discharge, official
Sure.
business. Yeah.
Not
Uh,
personal.
and everybody's talking about that. But the one that I think that we all need to talk about, especially conservatives, is the Chevron decision. Did you hear about that, Jen?
No, you mean in Georgia? No.
It was the fishermen, the lobster fishermen in Maine. They were paying think it was Fish and Wildlife or the environment. I can't remember what federal agency was charging them $240 every time they went out to protect the water, and they said that it was making it affordable for them to ply their business, which is lobster fishing. So they brought their case all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court found that agencies, now get this, agencies cannot arbitrarily um, put regulations out there without Congress. So the IRS that has arbitrarily put um, regulations on us, like we must. I may be wrong in this, so I'm just reaching here. If there's any accountants out there, let me know. I believe that this mandatory penalty, if you don't pay enough tax during the year, it was a regulation that the IRS came up with without Congress. I believe that you cannot, it used to be that you could claim, we're talking about serious shit here.
I have to break. I have to move.
Where are you going?
I have to move. My phone is about to die, and the
Oh, you gotta go
cord
plug it in?
won't charge my phone. It'll just keep dying, so I have to go to a real outlet. And somebody that owns this condo blocked the other one with the plate on it.
Oh, okay, got it.
So I'm
Well,
moving.
you go do that, and I'll continue my train of thought. So
Oh, God,
anyway, so basically now the lettered agencies that have control over our whole life can no longer arbitrarily make rules and regulations. They have only the powers that they're given, and after that, if their Congress has to make laws with teeth, and Congress has to actually give them the power to do things. So if Congress leaves things arbitrary and says let the experts in the agencies handle it, that no longer stands. So what does that mean? That means the government is going to shrink. And that is what conservatives have wanted forever, because the reason that the government is so large and has become like the blob is because of the Chevron decision, where the Supreme Court said the experts can determine what they do within the agencies. It's not for Congress to do, it's for the experts within the agencies. So anyway, the Dems are losing their mind, and I'm going to show you a clip of that. Hold on a second. Everything the Democrats do is untested common law. They make up laws as they seek to destroy our judiciary. Well, fun fact, it was the Republicans actually that were pushing for the Chevron decision back in the 1980s. So it wasn't the Democrats. It was actually the Republicans, and the Supreme Court sided with the Congress, which was Republican at the time. And so that's what happened. Okay. AOC goes all out crazy. Nancy Pelosi's newest position is the liquor cabinet, while Maxine Waters goes full MAGAholic. Yeah, we're going to show a little of that in a minute. That, and they can't use their own courts to make laws. Yeah, this is big. This is really, really big. So they did what Trump was trying to do as president. They did it in one fell swoop. So we're going to see a change in the way that our government, or at least our federal government, is right now, and maybe even our state governments. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how far down the chain that goes, but it seems to me that it's pretty far down the chain. So basically, it's the legislative bodies, your representatives, that have to make the rules that you have to live by, not government agencies. I think this is a big, big win for the United States people. U.S. Supreme Court already ruled that Congress has to make all the laws last year. Yeah, well, the removing Chevron is pretty big. Yeah, I know you're watching Jenna Romero. In her short shorts.
Oh God, I forgot I had shorts on and slippers.
Thank goodness you had something on.
Wearing pants.
Co-host is supposed to get up during the host monologue. What kind of show are you running?
My phone was about to die. The extension cord does not charge it when it's 20%.
It's a shit show, Howard. Welcome to the shit show. Trump was pivotal in removing many regulations. Regulations are a huge part of deep state, 100%. Democrats will continue to disregard our Constitution and now the Supreme Court. Oh, well, they've put a target on the head of the Supreme Court. Jen, sit down. Yeah, you're making everybody dizzy. Don't forget to water your plant.
That's Craig. Craig's watered. Craig's dusted. He's very happy. He has a new friend. Oh, he's smashed into the window. I have to move him.
Craig, she got Craig when he was this big, and now he's a tree. So funny, the Democrats are going off the rails via the Supreme Court decision on Trump. Absolutely. More like Daisy Dukes. Yeah. Oh, look at this. This is how we retain an audience. We saw everything. It's a better shit show. Okay. And I have to rewatch this episode now. All right, so let's hear what the meltdown the Dems had over Chevron. Listen.
I think this is an aspect of the traditional Republican business lobby that the MAGA movement has sort of embraced and turbocharged, because what the majority opinion by Chief Justice Roberts reflects is not just this deep distrust of government employees, like you say, the deep state that Donald Trump wants to purge, but also a fundamental hostility toward how government works today, right? The majority is furious that when Congress steps in to enact new legislation in response to evolving problems, like, for instance, the Great Recession in 2008, it understands that it can't foresee every little problem that could arise on the ground, and it can't prescribe every future solution to all of those issues. So what Congress does instead, and has done for more than a century, is grant these federal agencies broad power to decide how exactly to implement and enforce these laws, and to do so in accordance with their own expertise. So what the majority of the court is telling Congress is, you have to start writing narrower legislation. You have to start giving less authority to these agencies. You have to write feebler laws that are less capable of addressing future problems as they arise. And all of that is a recipe for paralyzing government, for paralyzing specifically the regulatory state that, whether we know it or not, we are all relying on to ensure we have clean air, clean water, safe food and drugs.
The only thing I can think that could be positive about this is that the court has now made a case for expanding the Supreme Court and the federal judiciary, because a court that can't finish its docket until July certainly is not a court that is prepared to take on all of the cases that will wind up through the system as a result of it eliminating the Chevron doctrine. That's the only silver lining that I can see, but I do think this is very, very grave indeed.
You know, Ian Millhiser at Vox just gives a sense of how much more work the Supreme Court has taken on. I mean, these are decisions that they have no expertise in, and they are granular and they run the gamut. Here's an excerpt. How much nitrogen may be discharged by a wastewater treatment plant in Taunton, Massachusetts? Is there effective competition between cable TV providers and streaming video providers in Kauai, Hawaii? Does the process of mixing and bagging sand constitute milling, which is regulated under the Mine Safety and Health Act, or manufacturing?
Here's what they don't understand. They don't understand that those judges, the justices and the federal judges, don't need to know this stuff, that granular stuff. Here's how it's going to work. The regulations will be reduced. The Congress will make minimal regulations on the people. If somebody feels that somebody's machines are polluting their air and affecting them, that person will take the other person to court. The courts will decide whether or not they have an impact. The person who's taking those people to court will have to bring an expert with them to show that they're having an impact. That's how things go. That's how they're supposed to go. The government is not supposed to regulate every aspect of our life. And then, therefore, we go back to being a people of liberty, freedom, and liberty, which this country was founded on. Get it, Jen?
Yes.